Hey everyone, does this sound like the rhetoric from someone who truly believes that Canada's economy is on fire and leading the globe as far as economic growth and prosperity? Psst, here's a subtle hint. It's all about growth of debts and deficits. You know, if you got a credit card and you can keep running up debts on that credit card, you can actually put forth and present a narrative that suggests that, hey, look at how great I'm doing, you know. And people that don't understand your personal economics, your personal finances, would be like, damn, man, it seems like that person knows what they're talking about. Look, they're doing great. Look, they bought a new car, get into a new home, you know, everything looks great for that person. But that's that superficial facade. If you pulled back the curtain, you'd be like, ooh, yeah, it don't quite look near as good. Ooh, the inside of your house, ooh, that looks terrible. I would never want a home like that. Ooh, scary stuff. Headline on the Financial Post: easy money will be around for some time yet, says Bank of Canada Chief Stephen Poloz. That's another thing. When did you ever hear any words or rhetoric coming out of our central banker? You know, prior to the economic collapse in 2008. Never heard it. It was completely off the radar. Matter of fact, a lot of you Canadians probably didn't even know there was such thing as a central bank in Canada, or who the central bank governor was. Why? Because, yeah, they're not supposed to wade into politics, but yeah, when your economy is basically crashed and you've been living on the extended credit card, which is basically, when you're talking about governments enslaving future generations and the unborn at this point, at this stage, yeah, you try to wade in and try to keep that narrative going, right? You need as many people singing the same tune in the hopes that the masses will believe your bullshit rhetoric and propaganda. Well, I'm here to destroy their credibility, to hold up a mirror and say, hey, look, hey, yeah, you can see the lies, can't you? And show the rest of the Canadian people that, look at the lies these fuckers are espousing. There's nothing I enjoy more than destroying the bullshit propaganda, lies, and narrative that these central planning authoritarian hacks try to put forth and present on a continual basis. Central banks aren't going to aggressively tighten policy because there are still vulnerabilities in many economies. Central banks are slowly moving away from the emergency stimulus put in place after the financial crisis. In case you don't know or understand what stimulus means, it means when economic growth actually dropped off the cliff and reality reared its ugly head. You know, the reality from past or prior economic interventions by central planners and governments. When that reality played out, well, the central bank and the governments all came together in addition with their crony corporate counterparts and the banksters to paint over, try to mask that reality. And they've been doing so ever since. So all this economic growth or prosperity, it's all false. It's all based on stimulus. The central bank printing money. And then they wonder, I wonder why it's only the 0.001% that seems to be gaining the most from this economic stimulus. Well, what, do you get your money from the central bank? Think about the kind of people that get their money, that's first in line to get money that's printed and conjured up by central planners or governments, right? Of course, that's not you, the average person or the average taxpayer. Central banks are slowly moving away from the emergency stimulus put in place after the financial crisis. And leaders gathered for the World Economic Forum have combined optimism with caution in their assessment of the outlook. The IMF sees global growth accelerating to the fastest pace in several years, but exuberance in markets, surging debt in China and elsewhere, and political flashpoints from Brexit to North Korea are all risks. Now, for an economy such as Canada, right, for a sovereign nation such as Canada, what the fuck? Why would it matter if there are jurisdictions or economies on the other side of the world that aren't doing so great? Well, it's because this push for globalization has caused too many businesses and corporations in this country to rely on the mandates, edicts, and central planning preferences of dictatorial governments or authoritarian central planners in other countries all around the world. This globalization effort, which is trying to prop up the entire global economy by taking from and plundering the productive class to give to the parasitical types, or to give to jurisdictions in foreign countries. I'm all about helping others, but listen, only under voluntary means or measures. When you try to force or impose growth in other jurisdictions, in other countries, but the only way that can happen when you have to take from my productivity and my prosperity to give to someone else, well, you better believe I'm going to push back. And you better believe there are going to be a whole lot more people that are going to start pushing back. As a result, as a consequence of people like myself helping to inform, educate, and enlighten them properly in the absence of your political propaganda and bullshit narratives. Anyways, I'm not going to read any more from this article. I'll place a link to it in the description of the video below. But I just want to cover these few sentences, this paragraph or so that you could hear from their own mouth, from the mouth of these fucking dipshits, that, yeah, your economy, I mean, they use fancy words, they use different words. They're constantly spinning, manipulating the language, the English language, so that you really don't understand what they're saying. If they use the same words, as they did in the past when we had other economic interventions and the consequential destructive nature of those interventions, if we all used the same language, the same words, well, people would be completely, well, it'd be like, you'd understand instinctively, oh, well, I remember when this shit happened in the past, so yeah, we don't want this happening again. So they always constantly reinvent and retweak their narrative with, little bit of difference in the subtlety and the terms that they use, so that you're still confused and confounded and really don't understand what's truly happening. Well, that's what people like me are here for. That's what we're doing on a daily basis. You're welcome. Skinny Libertarian, and I love liberty.